All right, we got one more minute. Look like look like everyone's probably back. Let me go ahead on and call the Richland County Special Call meeting for May 25th to order and ask Mrs. Maps to call the roll for attendance.
Certainly. Malinowski,
Here.
Pugh,
Here.
McBride, Livingston,
Here.
Teresa,
Here.
Joe Walker, Barron,
Here.
Overture Walker, Mackey,
Here.
English,
Present.
Newton.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. We've lost Mr. Walker and Mrs. McBride.
I'm here, Mr. Chair.
All right.
I've got you marked present, Ms. McBride.
I didn't hear her. Before I move to the adoption of the agenda, let me state on item 3, Mr. Pugh and also Livingston noticed to be a part of the ones who were requesting the special call meeting. Just want to make note of that. That brings us to item 2, the adoption of the agenda for the special call meeting.
So move,
Move to-
Mr. Chair.
It's
Second.
moved and properly second. Any discussions, changes, anything reference to the agenda? Other than the change I made regarding Pugh and Livingston's name included there. If not, I'll ask Ms. Maps to call the roll for the adoption of the agenda.
Malinowski,
No.
Pugh,
Yes.
McBride,
Yes.
Livingston,
Yes.
Horacio,
Yes.
Joe Walker, Barron,
Yes.
Overture Walker,
Yes.
Mackey,
Yes.
English,
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, the first item, first and only item on the agenda is the proposed second reading for the 22-23 budget. As you may recall, we did have we met the requirements of the state statute by holding a public hearing with the required datings for posting the notice and other things required for with the state statute. So what's before us now is discussion of whether or not we want to hold a second budget public hearing, and if so, when. It's what's before the body. And at this point, I'll take any motion or discussion reference that item.
Mr. Chair,
Ms. Mackey and then Ms. Frazier.
thank you. Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to hold a second public meeting to hear comments on the proposed budget on June 3rd.
And on June 3rd. Is the second to that motion?
Second.
Second.
It's moving proper second. Now, keep in mind, June 3rd is when our third reading is scheduled.
Yes, sir. And so there would need to be discussion about how to shift that back. But yes, sir. Since that date was already on our calendars, I figured that would be the most convenient for everyone and give residents enough time to sign up.
Okay, and let's have a discussion in consideration of that, since it's going to affect our third reading. I think we need to, as we do that, we need to also consider what the third reading would be, since we're automatically moving. So any suggestion about third reading if we move forward with the second public hearing on the third?
Yes, sir. June 17th.
All right, I have some discussion, but so Ms. Mackey, so your motion would be to have a public hearing at 6 p.m. on June 3rd.
No, sir, I actually said just a public meeting to receive comments. Because we've
I'm sorry.
we've met the obligation to have our public hearing. This is additional public meeting to receive comments on the budget for those that were not able.
A public meeting for the sole purpose of just receive comments. And then third reading on the 17th
June,
of June is your motion.
June 3rd, June 17th. Yes, sir.
Okay. That's the motion. And that is what the second of the motion.
Second.
Second.
The second that. Okay. So then I have McBride and Newton and then Livingston.
Mr. Chair,
Do you recognize Mr. McBride?
thank you, sir. I would like to at least discuss this with the administrator or the financial people to make sure that we're not throwing them off too much and to make sure that we are consistent with what they have rolled out for us in terms of timing.
And just follow up on that, since you mentioned that would be my comment too, because remember the budget and everything has to be in place by the end of the month. So when you do third reading on the 17th, that's pushing you real close to getting everything ready for operations of a new budget in July 1. So
That's right. That's right. Thank you. So can we have some input, because I'm
Can you
scared.
respond to that?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chair, I can respond to that. So you all have raised some very accurate information concerning the timing of the third reading and then the institution of the budget that's ultimately approved. We certainly recognize the council's will to move the item. Is there a taste for council to consider June 10th as the third reading rather than June 17th, which would give us additional time to have the third reading and then for the budget to be put in place so that it can be used effective July 1. So if that would be consideration or sometime that week, that would be helpful to address that issue, Mr. Chair and Vice Chair.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Chair,
Ms. McBride.
I offer a friendly amendment to move the public hearing, the third public hearing, to June 10th.
We have on my calendar, I have from 4 to 6, a text workshop. We can do it right after that.
And Mr. Chair, I'm sorry, Ms. McBride, this is the administrator, may I be recognized briefly, sir? Just for clarification.
Yes.
and I heard Ms. McBride say to move the public hearing or the public meeting to June 10th.
I'm talking about the budget. I'm sorry, Mr. Brown.
Okay, yes, ma'am, the third reading to June.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chair, for recognizing.
Okay, thank you.
I have, well, no, you were asking a question about the maker of the motion, I think, Ms. McBride.
Can I respond as maker of motion?
Yes.
And so I guess, can I get clarification on staff that if I accept that friendly amendment, what then becomes the deadline for council to submit motion recommendations or motion, I think I'm saying that right, motion requests? I guess because I want to make sure that we have the ability to hear everyone speak on June 3rd and then submit any motions after that. And so our previous deadline has been noon the week before. And if we go with June 10th, then that would be our deadline, would be June 3rd at noon. And we would not have heard additional comments by then.
Chair, may I be recognized?
Yes, Mr. Hayes.
Oh, yeah, Ms. Mackey, June, if you hear public comments on June 3rd, you can make motions, I would say Friday, June 4th, or even through the weekend, that 5th and 6th, as long as we can get it, have all the motions, the updated motions list out to council on that Monday, I think it's the 7th. So either that Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, you all can make motions, and we can get the updated motions list out to you all by that Monday.
Okay, thank you. Then I'm fine with accepting Ms. McBride's amendment.
Thank you. Ms. Newton, you recognize, and then Livingston.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have a clarifying question for the maker of the motion. When we were discussing this to request a special call meeting via email, one of the discussions that we had for the public hearing was that it would be open to those groups who had not already submitted comments in the previous public hearing, because the idea was to open it up to people that didn't give a chance to speak. Was that included in the intent of your motion, Ms. Mackey?
Yes, thank you, Ms. Newton. Yes, that was included in that was my intent of that motion, yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Well, Ms. Newton, thank you very much. You answered, you asked my question. And one of my concerns, the concern of having it on the 17th was, as I said, not giving staff enough time, but also too, when you go from second reading to third reading for 2 weeks, as a council member, you wouldn't enjoy those 2 weeks. I'll just say that and leave it alone. That'd be a long 2 weeks, I promise you. So you heard the motion to move the third reading to June 10th. Have a public meeting regarding the budget on June 3rd, and we'll only entertain persons who did not participate in the last public hearing.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
I apologize. Again, I just want to clarify. Was it only persons who hadn't commented previously, or was it persons and or groups that hadn't participated? Because I was under the impression that that also included the groups as well.
Well, if that's the motion, that's fine, yes.
That was the intent.
If that was the intent of the motion, that's fine, yes.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Okay, we're clear. Any other questions?
Mr. Chair,
Ms. Teresa, you recognize.
thank you.
For this
Just
quick
wanted
meeting,
to-
go ahead.
Yes, this quick meeting. I just wanted to lift up the way that to ask the question regarding how we would advertise this meeting. Was I clear? Did I break up?
No, you were clear. Can staff respond to that in terms of how we'll be advertising this meeting?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chair, I believe we can. I'll speak on behalf of staff, and then if the clerk would like to correct anything I say, then I'll certainly accept that. We plan to send this information out via publication, similar to what we would do in a regular public hearing style notification, to include posting that information in a print media, as well as shortly after the council makes its decisions. We've already communicated with the PIO to begin rolling out this information as well across all of our platforms to communicate to the public, again, much like we would with the public hearing. So we plan to use those same platforms to communicate to the community that we're having this additional opportunity.
Thank you. And Mr. Chair, can I just follow up really quickly? Because this is a quick meeting.
Another quick follow-up.
Yes, another quick follow-up for our quick meeting. And that includes social media?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. You're welcome.
All minds are clear, right? Are we ready to vote? Ms. Mathis, will you call the roll for the motion before it's regarding a change in the public meeting and the third reading as discussed?
Yes. Malinowski,
No.
Pugh,
Yes.
McBride,
Yes. Yes.
Livingston,
Yes.
Teresa,
Yes.
Joe Walker, Barron,
Yes.
Overture Walker,
Yes.
Mackey,
Yes.
English,
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Now, to be clear now, the time, we didn't say the time, but we're talking about 6 p.m. time, correct?
Yes, sir.
For the,
Public meeting, yes, sir.
yeah, for the public meeting, yes, okay, thank you.
And also, just so we're clarifying, while we are notifying the public of the public meeting date, we are also notifying them of the change for the third reading.
We can absolutely include that in notification, as well as how they can actually participate by sending in their information for the meeting. Yes, ma'am.
No, but she was saying about, we noticed that we changed the third reading from the 3rd to the 10th.
Yes, sir. I was saying that, Mr. Chair, in that notification, we would include that information that the third reading has changed. Yes, sir.
That's what we get at, thank you. Any further questions or clarification? If not, I'll ask Ms.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second.
Ms. Move and proper second for adjournment. I guess I'll have her to call the roll. Ms. Mathis, you call the roll for the motion to adjourn.
Certainly. Malinowski,
Yes.
Pugh,
Yes.
McBride,
Yes.
Livingston,
Yes.
Teresa,
Yes.
Joe Walker, Barron,
Yes.
Overture Walker,
Yes.
Mackey,
Yes.
English,
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. That was quick, but not quick.
That was one quick.
All right, everyone have a great evening.